fantastic. It's Saturday morning. It's, let's see, it's about 7:30 and a little past on Saturday morning. Today is the 14th, the 12th. Today's the 12th. I got a knife in from a good buddy Bird Knife. He's seen the mod that I did on the Carter Squared. And I'm going to be doing sort of a snippet, a start and stop. Oh, I just hit him. A procession of little snippets of me modifying it as I go. So this is just the first piece of the video, and I'll try to get them in somewhat of an order. I'll be doing some disassembly, I'll be doing some modding, some buffing. I don't know if I'll be able to film the buffing and grinding, because I don't know if I'll be able to get the camera where I need to get it. I'm trying some new things, and of course, I'm doing this hands-free, I'm at work, and this is not my normal filming environment. But I know you guys enjoy the mods and seeing how stuff is done. I know I do, and I really enjoy doing this, so I wanted to share my joy with you guys. So I hope y'all enjoy this, and that's what I got. This is fantastic. I'm Rodney, you know me, and if you haven't already, go back to the video and enter the giveaway. And I wish everyone great luck. I thank everyone for the comments. This giveaway is international. I will ship international. It's an extended cost. Now granted, if depending on where you're at, if the laws don't allow certain things, be forthcoming with me and tell me and say, hey, I can't get that here. I cannot pay $100 to ship. So I mean, there will be limits. It'll be much easier than if you're an international person and you have someone in the United States that can mail your item to. That is totally fine. Anyway, I'm gonna get a topic. I'm always rambling. So back to what's at hand is modding the Carter Squared. But real quick, I wanted to show you guys my little carry-on that I always have on me. Now I got a little pry bar. I got my wonderful cold steel holdout that I got from my buddy Falahi. He's the guy who does the intro music on all my videos. He's in the band Dirty Kings out in Golden, Colorado. Or Colorado Springs, not Golden, Colorado. But yeah, I got this knife from him, and Sean, I have this knife with me every day, brother. One thing I really like about this is its size, it's rip-through stuff, and this staggered jimping pattern. I mean, it's just a cold steel did very well on this knife. I'm still hunting for the big one. I want the big one. And I got some pins. I got my little lock thing. I keep my all my information in here, some cash, a notepad, receipts. It's just a great little item to have, and it's sort of like a wallet to me, because I don't carry it in my back pocket. But yeah, that's that. So, that's out of the way. Let's break into this Carter Squared. Now, I'm going to be using my new Boker bit pin, which is a bolt action pin / bit driver. Have not used it yet, so we're going to see how good it works. So here's the Carter Squared before. We can see all the square edges on it, and the seams don't match up. Actually, it's not bad. It's not drop shut. It's a shake shut, which is fine. But you know, it's got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of potential. And I'm going to do some of the things that I did to mine, and a little bit, I'm going to add some more flair to this one maybe. We'll see as we go. And this video might take a couple days to produce, so you might see some on Saturday. I'm gonna do the video all at once. I'm gonna add all the pieces together, but some might be from Saturday, some might be from a Tuesday. You know, it might take a combination of time to get it done, because I don't want to rush through this. And inspiration comes in sporadic moments for me. So just bear with me. You can see that I got my caffeine, I'm drinking my sun drop, and I got my lovely nice koozie. So I am good to go. I'm at work, I'm at my natural environment. I really enjoy being a machinist. And I'm hoping you can see this on screen. It's sort of an odd angle, but alright, he said there was something about a dent in the blade. Yeah, you can see there's a scuff. I might be able to get that to disappear. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into this. We're gonna open up the little bit driver here. There's the cap, and what I like about this, it's got a T6 and a T8, and that's the most common sizes, right? So I mean, you got some 10s out there. Alright, that was very loose, so I'm just breaking the seal on that. Switch over to the 6. Go ahead and get this clip out of the way. Wow, all these screws are very loose. I don't know if you've had this apart yet, Bird. You may have. You might have told me you took it apart. I don't know. I know you're busy like me. You're on the road traveling a lot, which I'm not on the road traveling. But you go away from the house for some of your work. It's coming together, coming apart really easy. I might have to get a double bit driver. I wish I got another one, because the screws are spinning on both sides, which I have another bit driver. Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab the other bit driver. Bear with me, guys. I'm here. Alright. Let's get this apart. I need more light. I should have brought a different light in. Alright. Let's switch this back to the 8. Get this pivot to the apart. Luckily the bearings are capturing here, unlike the Carter Prime. Which on that video, get ready to lose the screw. On that video, the bearings are not captured. And one of my YouTubers, one of my subscribers commented about getting some captured bearings. And I thought about doing that, but I have to do some measurements and figure out, what kind of cannonball I have to do. I can't do the blade pretty much because it's hard and I don't have the right tools to do a precision pocket. I could put it on the conversational machine and set it up, and that could be a possibility. I could cut with carbide. But I'm thinking about just doing it to where I machine a pocket, like this pocket, into the titanium. Alright, don't want to lose one of these screws. Get the pivot out of here. This is a D-shaped pivot. It's got the hard washers in it. Let's get these washers out. Get the bearings out, get everything laid out here so I don't lose anything as I'm working on it. One thing I don't like about the Carter Prime and the Carter Squared we have here is the hard insert, which it doesn't like it has one from the outside. It does have a hard insert, but it's staked in. When I say staked in, it's put in over pins, and then the pins are overpressed or overstaked, stamped, and it causes a crimp, per se, on top of the insert. I do a lot of work for different things, not knives. but it makes it to where the insert is not removable without damaging the knife and making it hard to put back on. So I could get the insert off, but putting it back on and making it stay without adding some more material would almost be impossible. So that's sort of a cheap way of doing it, because they're not having to drill and tap and add screws. So I reckon they're saving money, but at least they didn't cheap out totally and not have an insert. They realized that on titanium they need an insert. So we have these washers, which they do have washers. I can get these to pop out of here for the bearing races on both sides. This one is a D-shape. I don't know if you can see that shape. It's got a little teeth on it that causes it to go into a groove so it doesn't spin. Because the washer itself is what is D-shaped, not the hole in the titanium. It's the D-shaped washer. Alright, let's see if we can get these pieces out here. And basically what I'm going to do first is knock these edges off. I don't know if I have enough finger strength to get these to come out. I think I'm going to have to grab my little needle nose pliers. Yeah, they're pretty snug, so give me just a second. I got these old needle nose pliers that I use. It allows me to grip, especially a softer material, because my hand pressure is all the way out here versus up here. I'm not crimping like on a pair of channel locks, so I'm not afraid that I'm going to distort the brass. So I squeeze it just enough to where I feel it not spinning. I'm not bearing pressure on the lock because I don't want to take a chance of collapsing that brass. Some guys will use channel locks or, they're real easy to distort. Now, there is a wrench, I'm guessing that OKC has, because on the little brass collars here, I don't know if you can see it. If I can get it to zoom in, there's a flat. I don't know if I can get it to focus. Can you see that flat right there? There, I can't see it. There it goes. There's a flat on there. So imagine that OKC has a small spare wrench that they lay in here and slide and tighten that screw up on there to get it tight on the initial side. And that might have to do with, if they don't get it just right, the way this lays in here is not being flush. If that is not tightened correctly, it causes this to be offset, because there has to be a little bit of play for the pieces to work. That's the pivot pin for the blade, which is the hole in the blade here. It spins in there, allows the blade to swivel around it. It's the pin and the stop all built into one. Pretty ingenious. So the knife is disassembled. Took two tools to do it. I also like the fact that on the Carter Squared, the relief on the lug bar is on the interior. It makes for a much cleaner aesthetic on the outside. So that is it. I'm going to stop this video and move on to doing some mods and seeing if I can get the camera set up for something else. Yeah. So y'all bear with me. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back in a bit.
Alright guys, I'm going to try to film a little bit of buffing and edge rounding and contouring. So I'm going to be filming this. It's going to be noisy. Turn your volume down. Can't help that. I don't know how to mute the sound out. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a machinist. So, and I'm not going to be talking. I'm going to be focused on what I'm doing and being safe. I am wearing safety glasses, and I hope you enjoy this. So, here we go. It does get pretty hot. but I don't. I always try to keep it cool enough to where I can keep a hold of it without it burning me. I have a cup of water over here if I need to dip it in, and I can. So if you see me going off screen, that's what I'm doing. I'm dipping the knife or the scale in the water. Which there's no heat treatment done to the scales, so I ain't got to worry about getting it too hot or it's losing its temper. I don't want to get it too hot and maybe cause it to warp, because I want it to stay flat, because it's important that everything stays flat and true. So, but I'm not worried about that. Try to get the edges to blend. It's hard to see on camera, but I try to get a nice even radius across the linear portion and across the top so it rolls off evenly. And when I roll this edge, I want this edge and this edge to create a sharp line, a point that goes out this way. And that way when I reassemble the knife in pieces to do the backspacer blending and so forth, I create a nice edge here on the back, and everything transitions from one edge to another smoothly and, you know, aesthetically pleasing. So basically I'm just doing one section at a time. This is just the first run. I do a light edge on each corner. I go around the knife and do a little bit, and I come back and do more and more until I get to the desired result that I'm wanting. The main reason this knife is being modded is to add a little bit of difference to it, to customize it per se. But the main thing is the squared effect. We're not wanting it squared. We're turning the squared into the rounded. It's a great knife. It's a great concept. I love the knife. I love the one I've modded. I don't carry it a lot because I have so many knives I carry as a reviewer. I'm constantly changing knives in and out of the pocket. I do try to use my knives. I'm going to start doing more reviews and more maybe show and tells of using the knife, but you know, I'm evolving as a YouTuber, so bear with me. But anyway, that's what we're doing. We're just changing this knife, and I'm making this knife more friendly in the hand per se. That's what we're doing. We're causing this knife not to be a hot spot machine. All right, so back to grinding, to buffing. I don't know if you can see it, but you know this is real titanium. Titanium puts off a white spark instead of the yellow or orange spark. So whenever you take a piece of material and you spark it off on either a grinder or a buffer and it puts off a white spark, more than likely it's titanium or an alloy that has, I'm trying to remember the components of titanium. But I'm going to shut up because I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm not really creating a big spark because I'm buffing, I'm not grinding. If I used a grinding attachment, I would take off too much meat at one time. Got to be careful not to radius into these small holes, because this hole is right at the edge and I don't want to roll into that counter bore. Small edges and contours like this are really hard. I have to get on the edge of the wheel, and it's a little tedious. don't know if my head's in the way or not. Am I blocking with my bald head? Oh. You can see that it's coming out slowly, but the radius is to go all the way around the part. The transition, I got a little bit of work to do right here. I got a little blend line I don't quite like, so I'm gonna keep on dressing that. But slowly, I mean, we're only at 8 minutes into this video and I've done that. Now granted, this is the first stage, and I do this about 3 or 4 different times per scale, and then I gotta put them all back together and do a blend from scale to scale and the back spacer, and I still got work to do the back spacer. So we're gonna be filming this a little bit at a time. So yeah, I just want to show you that real quick. So I'm gonna pause this real quick, or stop it. Starting out with carbide, I'm just stepping up from a 5/16 to a 3/8 to a 1/2 inch to create this hole in the blade, because that's what he wants. So I'm putting it in for him. I'm hoping it turns out right. And I got this mixture on it, keeping everything cool, and so I don't change the temper in the blade by adding this hole. Don't want any heat to get into it, so this keeps everything basically like if it was in your pocket or if you stuck it in the refrigerator. Not harming it at all. It's ice cold. This is just a cool mixer. It's got a lubricant in it for cutting. Plus it keeps the tip float out of the way as I'm going down in the hole, so they don't get in the way and recut themselves. I have it bolted down with a single clamp system that, and I indicated to it where I wanted it and stuff, and lined it up, and I have my table locked down. And I forgot what I was going to say. But that's all I'm doing, is stepping up to a 1/2 inch end mill. That last mill was a 3/8. The first one was a 5/16, which 5/16 is 312 thousandths, 3/8 is 375 thousandths, and this 1/2 inch is 0.500 thousandths. need to dress this end mirror real quick. That's it. We have a Spidey hole in a 1/4 squared. Of course, I've created a little land there, a burr, that I have to remove because I didn't have a very sharp end mill. I'm not going to use brand new ones for doing this stuff. I'm using old ones that I have because I don't want to take a chance or dulling a brand new end mill that I used during the work day. I'm just using some old stuff I have laying around. Okay. Thanks. What's going on, guys? Naftastic. I hope you enjoy the previous little video clips that I put in right before this. They were showing a little walk and talk, show and tell of the mod process for the OKC Ontario Knife Company 1/4 squared that I'm doing for a subscriber friend, Berg Knife. We worked out a trade. He's given me some items in trade for services, and I was excited to be able to do this for him. I'm hoping it's going to be a keeper for him. It's still in process. I'm not done with it yet, but I wanted to do a sort of a show and tell of where we're at so far and what I've done and why I did it, and let you guys sort of enjoy the process too. But real quick, I want to give a shout out to multiple channels and people who are helping me with my current giveaway. I have already gained about 50 subscribers, I believe, since I created or uploaded the video. And I appreciate this community so much. I really enjoy knives, and I enjoy the camaraderie and the brotherhood of the knife people and knife guys and gals in the community, and the talk. It's therapy for me. I suffer with a lot of pain, and I reckon you'd call it mental distress. I get easily frustrated with things. I'm very peculiar. I'm very I try not to take things too seriously, but I can be overly serious at times. I think that's part of something that comes with a machinist. Being a machinist, I like perfection, but I realize from being a machinist that perfection is not always attainable. And I try to do my best, and sometimes I realize that I can't. And I realize that applies to everything in life. Be it, you know, just life itself cannot always be perfect. And each knife, from knife to knife to knife, you can have variances that aren't fitting to everyone. Just like in the comments I'm getting for dislikes and likes. You know, some people like this and some people don't like that. Some people dislike this and some people like that. It's a hit or a miss. The comments I've gotten have been astronomical, and one of the reasons I did that video and asked for that particular recommendation or question was to help myself and other YouTubers. I may be taking a look at the comments so we can make this knife community better. That's what I'm really shooting for, is how to make the knife community better for the end user. And I know a lot of the comments I'm seeing are a lot of things I think, and believe, and I go from one extreme to the other. When I try to do a video, I try to show. I'm guilty of not being prepared. A lot of times I just shoot from the hip. I do a video and I upload it. It's not like I got 15 videos in queue and I'm downloading them or uploading them, you know, on a given date. I do them as I can. I work a lot of hours and I got a lot going on. But with that being said, thank you so much to the reviewers, to the YouTubers, to the subscribers. I really appreciate in the success of my channel. So that being said, I know I'm going to forget some, but I'm going to try to remember at least a few, and I will create, if not in this video, in a video coming up soon, I will create a list. Because again, I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared. There goes a little bit of comedy for you. I'm just getting up. It's a Sunday. I haven't been up that long, and I'm drinking my coffee mix, and my cup has an inspiration on it. It says, when times are tough or you're feeling blue, if you're not sure where you're headed, remember the Lord. He will carry you. So, you know, he's carrying me at times, and I depend on him. Thank you so much to Big Red EDC, Grateful Panic, John, brother, I appreciate it. Gary, Last Ranger, Nebucloud, Jason, thank you. Jake, Ohio State, Dominic, Max Level EDC. There's so many. I know I'm forgetting. Going off the top of my head, Eggs and Ham. I should have wrote all these down, but again, I'm not prepared. Suburban Tactical Nation. Okay, I'm at a loss. I'm gonna have to edit this out. Let's get into this. How about that? And I'll create a list in the description. How about that? When I edit this video, I will put a thank you list in the description, or either I'll film another piece and add it. I know y'all are already clicking off the video because I'm taking so long to show this. Okay, so what I did was, this was a squared off, sharp cornered nightmare. And I've rounded, get some better lighting on this for you. I have rounded the corners everywhere. I've added a spidey hole to the blade, which he's going to re-acid etch because the knife came with a pretty good scratch in it that he's going to remove. And in the deburring process, because I wanted to get the maximum size hole in the right location for the flippability of it, I left a little bit of a burr on it, which I would think about re-etching the blade myself anyway, because part of it still has the name. I tried to take most of the name off because basically this is now a custom, I guess you would call it. But I added the spidey hole. I added a detent ramp. I don't have any oil on this. This is just clean. But the action is better now. The flipper still works great. It's sort of drop shut. This is totally oil free. It's just running on the bearings itself. I've added the spidey hole. I didn't put a large chamfer. I just basically deburred the area around the hole so it has some nice bite for your finger. I didn't want it to get too rounded. And by rounding it, I would have went into the perimeter around the edges. So I rounded this off here a tad, so the blend of the blade flows with the end of the knife now. It did protrude out some here more, and you can see a blend line, and now you can see it's pretty much right at even keel. I did that. I blended the back spacer to where the fit and finish is nice and uniform and flush across. There's no gaps and what I did is I geometrically took spacing. I figured out the pattern I needed, and I took a 3/32 end mill and went all the way around the perimeter, and you can see that I did this hole, and it's evenly spaced. Even from here to here is the same distance as from here to here, all the way down to the end. I modded one, and I went all the way through, and I just did a whole pattern from here to here, and I went all the way through with 1/8" holes. I wanted to do something different on this one because I didn't want it to be the same as mine. I wanted it to be custom. And I did not go through because to get this symmetrical pattern, I would have had to go through to the brass spacers that are in here, and I didn't think it would look right. And also, by keeping it clean and not through, it allows the inside of the frame to stay clean, and dirt and pocket lint don't get into these little holes. So I figured that was cleaner, more aesthetically pleasing. I know that he is going to probably do an anno storm on this. He does his own mods also, does great work. I mean, he really loves anno storm, and he does it on a lot of knives, and it looks awesome. And he's going to do that. But on the backspacer, I think me and him discussed. I still got more polishing to do on this. You can see there's some rippling in here. That's just because the coarse wheel I was using on the buffer. I still got more finishing to do. But he's going to do a different color, an electrical anno on the backspacer, and an anno storm, a heat anno on the scales. But I'm going to add some. I got to lay it out first, and I'm going to send them some pics of what it's going to look like before I do the actual work. I'm going to take some Dicam and do some patterning and put some speed holes on the front scale here. Of course, I can't do it on the back scale because it's the lock bar. But I'm going to do that, and if he likes that, I'm going to add some speed holes to this, sort of like I did on the Carter Prime. If you want to take a look at that, a couple of videos back, I did an OKC Carter Prime to where I added speed holes into the front scale, the front frame piece. It came out really good. On mine, I stylized the pivot with some little holes. On his, what I did was I blackened, not quite as black as you can see as the original hardware screws, but I did blacken the pivot on this to sort of get it blend. I got it as dark as I could. I maybe could get it darker, and I might continue to try that. It's done with a simple process. I just take a propane torch, and of course I had the screws screwed together. I don't have it torqued down because I don't want it to heat weld itself. And I use a product called Molly D, which is a lubricant we use for drilling alloys and nickels and chromium and hastelloys. It's a real heavy duty cutting fluid, and it's black. It's like black molasses tar. And what I do is I heat it up, not quite cherry. I get it good and hot, but not glowing hot. And I dunk it in the oil and let it cool. And then I burn it off again. And I dunk it in the oil and let it cool. And then I burn it off again. And then I dunk it in the oil. And I did that about 3 times with this. And it will not scratch off. It is part of the... It burns into the parent metal. Now, granted, you could polish it off, I believe. I have not tried that because I don't want to. But I've basically blackened the pivot screw on the back side. And this is a D-shaped pivot. It's not D-shaped in the frame. The washer insert that rides on the bearing has the D-shaped and the locking little wing that goes into the interior of this frame. So it does have a locking pivot, which is nice. I modified the clip a bit. I rounded off this back edge. It was sort of squared off. I rounded off the back edge of the clip, and there was a little hump about right here that I took out, and I gave a little bit of a wing. You can't see real here, but this lifts up just a tad, and then I rounded the end off just a little bit to make it a little bit less pointy. It goes in and out of pocket very well. Like I said, I radiused everything. Blade centering, I don't have it. It's just a tick to the presentation side, but not much. And I'm still working on that. I'm thinking if I get some oil on it and get it good and tight, that'll take that away. And then last but not least, what I did is I started and I didn't finish because I had some things to do, and I came home. I added this jimping to the thumb area, and what I did was I basically took an end mill, and which I think I did a video of it. Y'all might have seen it already before. I can't remember. I filmed some and I didn't film others. I don't think I filmed this. I don't think I did. But I stopped short of the hole because I didn't want to go too far up. But now that it's actually, because I did this with it out of the knife. I couldn't do this with the knife put together. I'm thinking about when I take it back apart to do the framework, the possible speed holes here, that I'm going to set back up on this and re-indicate to my linear pattern here and add some more jimping farther up to increase that jimping up the blade spine. And I think that'll look really good. But that is the modded, and I've thought about doing some more work and taking away some of this flipper tab. I laid it out to where I'm gonna cut myself. I ain't watching what I'm doing. I'm thinking about taking this area here, get this box out of the way. The background throws you off. But I'm thinking about cutting away this portion of the blade, which is the thumb ramp reversed. Okay, so imagine I'm taking that away and basically rounding this up in here to a choil, more of a choil. Because you grab the knife here. Okay, you really don't grab it up here. But you grab the knife here, and I have a medium-sized hand that fits in my hand pretty well. It's a big knife. You're looking at a cutting edge of about 3.5 inches. So it's got some substantial blade edge to it. And by doing that, when I cut that away, it will take about that much of the blade away. So it will really lessen the flipper tab amount to a smaller shark fin. And with that being said, I don't know until I do it if the flipper tab would be too small to work well. I could do a total flipper delete altogether. It would not change the ergos of the knife. This would just not be here at all, and let it be a Spidey flick knife altogether. I don't know if that's something he wants, and I need to talk to him about it more, because this knife is still a work in process. It's got a lot of work left to be done, possibly. For the most part, I'd say it's getting close to being done. But that's what I wanted to show you guys, and give a shout out to the channels that I can't remember. There's so many. There's Goondocks, Nebucloud, Lash Ranger, Knife Detector, Jake from Ohio State, Max Level EDC, 1 Minute Knife Review. To my subscribers, Winchester Inc. and Bad Monkey, and all you guys, and Big Worm, Jeremy Spalding, 412, and Pro X, I think it's 140 or 840 Pro X. I just know it's Pro X. There's so many guys that I talk to. John Scarborough, I can't remember y'all. I enjoy communicating with you. I really do. I really do. And this is a hobby for me. I am not a basher, regardless of how good or how bad the knife is. I'll hit on its points, and that's what I got. I'm rambling on because I like to do that. I need to sip my coffee. My iced coffee. I appreciate the honesty in your comments on the giveaway video. I look forward to that giveaway. And that will be running until the day after Father's Day. Let me know what you think about the 2QUARED. like it. Been out for a little while. This is Naftastic, Rodney. You know me. I'm the nice guy. Try to be. So, be nice to someone. Hold that door open. Smile. Say thank you. Turn that cheek. You never know. You might be the one that needs a cheek turned on. God is good all the time. Y'all have a great Sunday. Bye.